morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this live panel discussion today. My name is Jakia Ford, and I am the Product Marketing Manager for ATX Tax Software here at Wolters Kluwer. Today, we are discussing Do You Know What's in Your Tax Toolbox? Presented by Wolters Kluwer Tax and Accounting segment, respectively. So our panel for today, joining us is Anthony Sampson. I know many of you probably are like, oh, that face looks very familiar. So Anthony is a solution architect here at Wolters Kluwer, as well as a practicing EA, soon to be CPA. You probably recognize Anthony from a lot of the Get Wise seminars that he attends. He's typically there walking through customers through our ATX demos, so giving you guys like the ATX experience. So he's been using ATX for several years and has been with Wolters Kluwer for 4 years. We also have with us today a special guest who is a current long-term ATX customer, Timothy McGilberry. Tim is president and owner of Seizing the Moment firm, as well as a practicing CPA. So a little background about Tim. He has been with ATX for 25 years, and he will speak today to his experience of not just using ATX as a tax software, but he will also introduce some of his best practice tips that he utilizes during every filing season. He will also speak to his personal experience using iFirm Client Portal. The topic for today is an important conversation to have. Coming into Wolters Kluwer and getting to know a lot of our customers, and understanding that a lot of our customers are not fully aware of the full functionalities that a lot of our tax solutions offer. So yes, every tax and accounting professional should definitely know and have the right tools to ensure for a successful filing season, but also know how to use those tools to enhance their clients' filing experience so your customers can be repeat clients. And in addition to that, increase revenue and also increase efficiency in their client in the filing process. So today we're going to just touch on the main tools that every tax and accounting professional should definitely have. And those main tools are of the right tax software, definitely, a secure client portal where you can home all of your client documents so they're very secure and private, as well as the right tax research tool. So you can stay on top of those ever-changing tax laws and an efficient practice management tool that will track work management flow and among many other things. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to our panel speakers who can speak to the importance of having the right tax solutions for your practice.
Definitely talking today about the right tax software you utilize in your practice. Every taxpayer should have a valuable set of tools, and one of the things that you want to consider when working in your practice is definitely not just having a tax software that's just tax alone. But we have a different set of offerings here that integrate and work together here at Wolters Kluwer. So ease of use and quickly being able to file that return. Because think about it, many of you practitioners, you're doing 300, 400, 500 returns. I mean, Tim, I'm sure you're probably doing a lot of returns during tax season, and you've got a very, very short period of time. So being able to have an extensive library of various different types of forms that you can fill out, and that's one of the things here we'll talk about today on this presentation regarding ATX. Also, the ability to actually keep up with the workflow that you have. As clients are sending you documents, being able to assign those tasks to some of your team members, or keeping up with the deliverables and due dates, having like a project management tool or pretty much a time and billing component is important to be able to incorporate into your practice. And one of the most important things is when you're sitting down with your client, having that ability to compare year over year with that return and showing them this is the reason why you owe some extra money, and this is the why your refund actually went down. That's very important. Some comparison tools we have, and we actually have the ability for you to compare not just the client's income and deductions, but also be able to compare depreciation. What are the best tools to utilize for depreciation, how to maximize Section 179 and things of that nature. So having the right tax software in your practice is definitely one of the anchors, one of the foundations of building the right tax practice. Would you agree with that, Mr. McGilberry?
Oh, yes, I do, wholeheartedly. We're talking about now the right tax software. We're talking about ATX. And what I like about ATX is its user-friendly interface. I'm talking about from the tax organizer to e-filing. Easy to learn, and the learning curve is not steep. I have used Drake, Lacert, ProSeries, but ATX is one of the best. It's easy to get around the system for personal and business. returns. They have a form-based library covering federal, state, and local returns that allows you to complete your taxes with ease. They have over 7,000 forms. It also has an interview tool that walks user through every step. Use your errors and omission checker. Easy to prepare the most complicated tax return. We have expert tax research, CCH Answer Connect, which we'll talk about later. They also have excellent customer support. You can import tax data from QuickBooks, and the software is constantly growing with changing technology. And Anthony, that's what I like best about ATX.
Hey, thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. And you mentioned Answer Connect. We're going to talk about that here in our next slide up in here on CCH Answer Connect. And tell me how you utilize Answer Connect in your practice. Chiquise, if you could just move to that next slide and let's talk about some of that expert tax research that we definitely do have on our ATX platform, or that comes with the ATX platform. So on our CCH Answer Connect package, Tim, tell me, how do you use Answer Connect in your package in your day-to-day practice, especially with the CARES Act and COVID and everything that's changing? How did you stay up on top of tax law to serve your clients?
Well, great question. Answer Connect. I mean, you don't have to use Google now. That is right at your fingertips within the tax program, and you can access it on the internet or either on your phone. With the program, you just push the button, and voila, it just opens up. It's going to show you tax news, federal tax legislation, federal taxes. It's going to cover topics, master tax guide, regulation, tax form, cases, etc. It's going to cover state taxes. It covers multi-states, international tax topics, tax treaties. It's going to give you everything that you need right there at your fingertips. In the old days, we keep, going to Google or going to Bing, trying to find what we're looking for, but can't find it. Even the IRS, their own website is just disarray. So this program will help what you need. And then they also have CCH State Tax Smart Charts, which Anthony will take it there and tell us about.
Absolutely. So with our smart charts, it's really great. It's going to break out jurisdiction by jurisdiction, especially when you have issues with your clients when it comes to nexus and things of that nature. It's breaking out the tax implications that your client may have. Now, when the CARES Act was passed on March 27th, some states decoupled from the federal. There were some states that chose not to have a July 15th due date. There's some states that actually had an earlier due date for their individual returns. So what our customers were able to do is go to our smart charts and see state by state the listing of the due dates for their various different clients, because they may have had to file by a specific due date. And our CCH smart charts, not only does it give you the explanation of those due dates, but they link it back to that state's revenue code and things of that nature. That's one of the themes here at Wolters Kluwer. When you have to be right, we link you back to those authoritative sources to help guide you in that. Now, Tim, tell me, in your practice, especially with what's going on right now, with the CARES Act, allowing customers to take distributions from their IRAs without paying a 10% penalty and things of that nature. With the CARES Act, are you having to do more tax planning for your clients? Tell me about that. And are you using the tax planner that we have in the ATX tax solution?
Oh, yeah, the tax is good. A couple of things before we move on. Also, with the state tax smart charts, it helps you with finding out that franchise tax that every state has, because a lot, like California has the 800 franchise tax. So when you're doing multiple people taxes in multiple states, that helps find out for tax planning also what they're going to be paying in taxes.
Okay, that's amazing. That's amazing. So, and does some tax planning come into play when you're working with those clients?
Oh, yes, indeed. As far as COVID, what we're dealing with now is, and the IRS is kind of great, but it looks like it's going to happen. People are getting those PPP loans, and they're supposed to be forgiven if of the protocol not changing, but 70% of payroll now that they may be changing it. But the thing is, it's probably going to be taxable. They may say it's forgiven, but then the IRS tax code said any type of expense is going to have to be adjusted or reimbursement. So we're going to have to plan with clients and say, is it beneficial for you to just treat it as a loan and pay that low interest, or recognize it as income, depending on how much money they received.
Wow.
That's the issue.
Wow, that's amazing. So using that tax projector, helping plan what that client's tax liability is, and working as a CPA, the clients, they definitely hold you accountable for managing their tax liability. So being able to plan that out year over year using the tax projector and creating various different scenarios, you definitely find some value in that when working with your clients. Now, let me ask you a question now. Now that, since we're in COVID and we're, everything is contactless, and definitely, Jakia, Ms. Ford, definitely, if you can switch back to that slide, are you finding yourself having to use more of like the client portal versus some clients, they would come to your office and they'll talk with you and you go over the taxes? Are clients more open to using a client portal now?
Yeah, clients are really calling them security now. That in the past they didn't care, but now because of what's going on, the people, they want something better now. So the portal is going to come in handy right now. A couple things before we leave, Anthony. We have to also use the comparison tool. The comparison tool is great because you can use this as an analytical tool to review taxes from the current year prior. This will help explain the reasons for owing this year or the reason for increase or decrease in the refund. So because, people are getting less or getting more, they want to know why. We're dealing with a lot of sophisticated clients, and you have to tell them why they're getting less or why they owe. They don't take it, well, just pay it. They want to know why. So you have to tell them their tax bracket, or you want to tell them they get more of their money up front, or last year, you had your kids, you had a more education credits. So we have to look at both years and give them specifics why their tax liability is changing. So having that, use that comparison all the time to explain their tax return because they want to know why.
So definitely,
and they don't understand
analysis. I'm sorry.
So there's something you can show them. They can follow it with you and go over it.
That's nice. That's definitely nice. And now, do you include that comparison in the client copy when you put it in the client's portal so they can review back to it themselves later on? Do you do that as well?
Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. So tell me about your experience. How long have you been using the client portal in your firm, and does the portal integrate with your ATX tax software? Tell me about that.
Yeah, this is my first year using the portal, brand new, still learning things. But the bottom line, it allows you to share sensitive documents with clients, and then the clients can likewise share sensitive documents with me. And you can share documents securely also within your office. It has 128-bit encryption on security of the portal. And the most important thing, the documents are secure and compliant, Anthony, with the IRS. And it also can eliminate unsecure emails and reduce print costs. The portal, the more you use it, it's going to be more beneficial and more beneficial. And as we get into these perilous times and people not trusting folks for all the scams and everything else, the portal is going to be one of your best investments.
Absolutely, Tim, and definitely, working for Wolters Kluwer my entire employment here, I've definitely been working with the client portal, and it has that direct integration. So when you're in the return, click print, and it prints it directly to that client portal and puts a copy of that return there. And same thing, vice versa too. Just from my experience working with clients, they actually respect you more when they see that you're taking the proper security measures in place. That you're not just saying, "Oh, just email me your W-2, email me your 1099, email me your information." Clients tend to respect you more, especially clients becoming more tech savvy and more knowledgeable, and they understand how dangerous email can be. Now, tell me, you had a situation one time where you switched computers one time and you had some data issues. That brings back some memories. Tell me about that. And you had to use our CCH return retrieval. Tell me how that worked for you.
Oh, that saved my life. I was switching computer systems program to a new system, and for some reason, when we brought it over, the older system, my tax guy, my IT guy, the depreciation for some reason didn't come over. So I was causing a problem. So I called up support, and they was able to retrieve the data for me, and that saved me a lot of time. depreciation came back, and everything worked well though. But this is a great program now because anything can happen. With dealing there, you can get a storm, and a storm can take away some of your data for some reason. Especially, I live in Florida. We get a lot of storms. So having this return retrieval, that was awesome. It's a good
Absolutely.
investment.
Absolutely. So, folks, and definitely to learn more about that, essentially what's happening is every tax return you e-file, we actually keep a copy of that return on file for you. So Tim found himself in a situation where he, lost some data when he was moving from one machine to another. He was able to reach out to us and definitely retrieve that data directly from us, and he was able to get that depreciation schedule. That's a very valuable tool. And think about it too, is many of you folks are sole proprietors, so you don't have the luxury of, well, I'll just ask the tax partner. You are the tax partner. You are the tax manager. You are the IT engineer. You're everything. So knowing that you're with a company that definitely thinks about you, thinks about what practitioners can go through, because AI CPA says what, 7 years of retention of documents,
Right.
Circular 30, 3 years. So you are responsible to have those documents on file to at least at a minimum meet your AICPA, your Circular 230 requirements by the U.S. Treasury. Now, I want to tell you about something that's very exciting that I feel like a lot of practitioners, they tend to overlook, and that's the practice management capabilities that integrates with ATX. So we've got a product called CCHI Firm. And that's exactly what it is. It's focusing on your firm and focusing on the productivity of your firm. Every time you open a tax return in ATX, a little clock starts in that right-hand corner. And I get it. As small firms, we're flat fee billers. We bill a flat fee and things of that nature are value-added billing. But you still want to be able to see, hey, how long did it take me to do Mary Jane's S corp return this year? How long did it take me to do these returns this year? So for that time tracker to track how long you're spending in every return, it starts to build and create a lot of reports. And those reports start to show you the productivity of your practice and to show you how much revenue you're generating on a per client basis or a per type basis. You may recognize that, hey, doing 990s may not be the returns I need to take on. I spend a lot of time doing these 990s and I don't get paid that much. The actual practice manager solution will recognize that for you. So it integrates directly with ATX. It allows you to track all your workflow, record time, and helps you not to miss things. I'm sure you probably got a time where a client sent you their documents and they call you up a week later and say, hey, Tim, how's it going with my tax return? Oh, man, I forgot. I definitely forgot. But our practice management solution is going to keep up with those jobs and it has a reminder. So every time you log in or you're getting automatic reminder emails telling you that, hey, Mary Jane is waiting on her tax return. You told her that last week Friday she was going to get it. So you've got a project tracking tool. And that also helps you to have more increased revenue because you're staying on top of those projects. You're increasing your cash flow because you're able to consistently get the returns done and generate revenue for your practice. So that's really great. Now, Tim, I like to call January 1099 Palooza. So definitely, JK, move to that next slide there, because in January we've got 1099 Palooza, and let me guess, you've got clients that are sending you information. You've got 31 days to get all your 1099s mailed and e-filed by January 31st, or your client and you get a penalty. Tell me, how does 1099 Palooza take place in your firm in the month of January? How does that work for you?
Well, by using the payroll system, the compliance system, it's easier to do the 940s, 941s, 1099, W-2s, the state unemployment forms, the state, withholding form. Just using this software makes it easy. Probably the only thing you have to do is register with the business service online, the BSO, within the Social Security system. But this is a great package that you must have, because even if you don't do payroll, sometimes the client, something happened and they need an emergency for you to do the 1099 or W-2 because things happen. So you at least got to have this information to help out friends, family, emergency items that come about.
So Tim, do you have clients that maybe you're not providing accounting services for, and they want that 1099 done? They come to your office on January 30th at 5 p.m. and they want you to issue 50 1099s by tomorrow. Does that happen to you, Tim?
Yeah, it happens at the last minute. But more importantly, it happens when you're doing their taxes. From my end, it happens when you're doing their taxes and you ask them the question, did they file 1099s? And they say, what? And they have all these subcontracted costs. So we're trying to do them then and send a letter to the IRS, new accountant, blah, blah, exclude the penalty. So a lot of times, if they're a new client and just starting in business, they don't even know about a 1099. They have to be educated.
Wow, that's amazing. And one thing I want to reassure you folks, we've got different levels of packages of ATX. You may have some clients that have more complex returns and you need more advanced calculations. We've got that in our ATX Advantage package. Or maybe you just, be you have a small set of clients or small business clients and not too complicated. We've got that ATX Max package. So as long as you're in our ATX Max package or Total Tax Officer Advantage, you're going to get a free copy of our payroll compliance reporting solution. And that's going to allow you to e-file those 1099s. So that red and white paper that you used to buy at the supply store, you don't have to do that anymore. As long as you've got I couldn't even find some. I was trying to find some paper for an example for this presentation, but couldn't even find any. You don't need it anymore. You can e-file those 1099s, print them out, mail the copies to the recipients, and be able to address those January 31st requirements, what I call 1099 Palooza. Now, Jakia, I believe you've got some exciting news to announce to our ATX customers and even to some of our prospects. It's something new is going to be coming to ATX. Go ahead and take it away, Jakia.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So we are so excited to share with you guys the new additions that are being added to ATX this fall. And I'm going to pass it to Anthony so he can unveil what's to come.
Everybody, drum roll, please. All right. So on the 2020 release of our ATX tax software, we're going to have many enhancements on there. One of the biggest enhancements are going to be is the e-signature. That's right, folks. Electronic signature e-signing is coming to ATX. Now, we've already been getting so many questions about the e-signature. Do I have to buy it in bulk? Do I have to buy it in packages? Absolutely not, because you're going to have some clients that they don't want to e-sign. They want to just sign it and mail it to you. You've got some of those clients, right, Tim?
Yes, you do.
But you're going to have some clients that are tech savvy, the millennial clients, where they do everything on their mobile device, right? So they're going to expect that e-signature. So you'll have the ability directly from the ATX tax software to push a few buttons, push a few clicks, and send them the actual signature page. Now, guess what's going to happen to that client, though? That client's not going to encounter just a form and they just open an email and sign it. No, there's going to be some KBA, some knowledge-based authentication questions. They're going to have to validate their identity because in this digital age we're living in, and I'm sure Tim could attest to this, you probably never even met your account. You've got clients that you never even met before. So the ability to actually have the client verify the identity with those knowledge-based authentication questions are fantastic. We're going to have that. And now, and here's the thing too, we've been getting a lot of questions from customers saying, well, I want to be able to e-sign the 1120S. I've got some S Corp clients, or I want to be able to e-sign a 1065. Well, unfortunately, the IRS has not allowed those forms at this present moment. As of today, June 17, 2020, that has not been allowed yet. But it's coming down the road. Post COVID, there's been so many changes that may happen. You never know. It might happen later on this year. But only as of right now, we'll have the ability to electronically sign the 1040s for those clients. But then definitely, who knows? The IRS may change some of their laws or change some things, and those business returns could be signed off on.
Yes, thank you. Thank you everyone for attending today's webinar. We will continue to have content like this going forward in the coming months. So stay tuned for more free webinars and make sure you please check the ATX account bulletin as well as any ATX updates on the ATX blog ran by product management. So you guys have a wonderful day.